My name is Morgan Klosser. I took the course November 2015, so it's been a while. Prague always spoke to me. I said to myself, I'm going to live there one day, and so naturally, I looked at Prague, and then some of my good friends recommended the Language House to me. They offer such a tight-knit community, and I thought to myself, if I'm going to move all the way across the world, I need a tight-knit community, and that's what I got from the Language House. Having those friends who were going through it with me, having all the social events that were alongside it, that was massive because they become your family. I mean, I know it's cliche, but they're legitimately my family, and there are 5 of us still here now. We call ourselves the OG group. The actual course was great because it forced you to be crazy creative. A lot of TPR, a lot of innovation, and it just allowed me to kind of think outside the box. And so whether I was given a textbook or whether I was given no textbook, I was able to create a lesson, and my students got something out of it, and honestly, so did I. If someone wants to teach in Thailand, I think it all depends on where you're coming from and what experience you're trying to get out of it. So do you have a teaching degree that's back home from the States, or do you have a TEFL, or do you have both? Now, if you have a degree back from the States, you have even more options, and I would definitely go for an international school. Now, if you don't, you may still be able to work at an international school, especially if you have your TEFL degree and some experience. Pay range is highly variable in Thailand. It's not exactly the country you go to if you want to put away the most money, but if you're smart, you can still put away a good bit of money. Working in Bangkok, you will make more money than you would make in a place like Isan or a village in the countryside. Honestly, I do believe that my certification from the Language House is what landed me such a great job in Thailand, because I taught science, I didn't teach English, which teaching English is great, but in Thailand, there are pay differences with what subjects you teach. And I was able to get much better pay for teaching science. And so while you might not be making a lot by US standards, by Canadian standards, wherever you may be from, you can easily save money there. So the visa process in Thailand can seem a bit intimidating. It started before I moved there. They start you on a non-B, and so I believe it gives you 90 days. Essentially, it's kind of anticipation to work, and it gives you time to get all your affairs in order and get your actual work visa. And that's where your agent comes in handy, and that's why I think your first year it's very important to have an agent, because they are your liaison between you, the school, getting your visa, and also navigating the Thai language. Without the agent, I have no idea how I would have learned the ropes, because not only did my agent help with that, but he connected me with expats who had been there for 5, 6, 7 years, and they could answer my questions like that, even faster than he could. It's really cool in Thailand because their school year kind of goes along with the weather. So you have the rainy season, and during the rainy season, you have that month off. There's plenty of time to travel because you have that month off, and then you have another 2 months off during the very, very hot season, because it is very, very hot, and so it's hard for children to focus during school. So they give you those 2 months off, and that's when you have the water festival, that's when you have all these festivals, and that's another part of the lifestyle that's really cool. There's such a sense of community, and everyone participates in these festivals. It's not something that you really see anyone sit out. If you go through the Language House, you have so many resources to tap into, myself included. We have a huge alumni network, and so many of us have taught all over the world. So if you ever have a question, you want to meet up, you're in Prague, you want to get a drink and just, basically pick each other's brains, we're there for that. If you want to reach out to somebody who is actually in Asia right now, we have a network on the ground that you can start talking to. So you can connect with the Facebook group that's particular to Asia. You can connect with the large Facebook group that is all of us. You can connect with people that are specifically in Prague. Facebook is a huge resource as far as the Language House is concerned. Once you get your TEFL certificate, it doesn't mean you have to stay in Prague. Sure, you can stay in Prague. I fell in love with Prague, But once you think it's time to move on to somewhere else, or if you had another country in mind in the first place, the TEFL certificate gives you the ability to make that happen. It opens up so many doors that wouldn't have been opened otherwise. My advice to someone who's interested in doing the course is go for it. Because if you have that interest, I kind of live my life in a way that you regret more the things you don't do than the things you do. And in the past 4 years, I've lived in Prague, I've lived in Thailand, I've gone back to the States, I've had dream jobs and not so great jobs, but honestly, the Language House was such a huge resource for me. It opened so many doors for me, and I don't regret it. I'm glad that I'm not still wondering what if, and I took the leap.